a very exciting industry to be in, especially as a young chef. I went in as a head chef in one of the outlets, a new seafood restaurant we were doing, with a panna cotta from honey that's grown on the estate here. Within the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've approved over 1,000 price increases.
Chef Table Podcast by Hotel and Restaurant Times.
Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of the Chef Table Podcast. In this episode, we are joined by Gary Rogers. Gary is currently working as executive chef at Carton House, a Fairmont Managed Hotel, overseeing Carton's 4 kitchens, each offering delicious local food. Gary has an extensive career in Ireland and abroad, running kitchens since he was 21. We talked to Gary about his family, career, food inflation, staffing problems and more. All the Chef Table episodes can be found at our website hotelandrestauranttimes.ie/podcasts, as well as on Spotify and YouTube at Hotel and Restaurant Times Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Nespresso Professional, bringing the exceptional Nespresso coffee offering to hotels and restaurants. Okay, Gary Rogers.
Cyril.
How are you, sir?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. Tell us a little bit about yourself first, about the family and your background.
My background, so I'm from Balbriggan originally. My father used to be in the army. He was a chef in the army actually. My mother was a housewife. She used to do a bit of bar work on the weekends. I had 3 brothers, 1 sister. So we had a great upbringing there in Balbriggan. We were in the council estate. I always remember Christmas time, all the kids out on their bikes at 3 or 4 in the morning now. And we were a very tight-knit community back then. It was a small town. It's got a lot bigger now. And then I suppose what introduced me into hospitality was the place where my mother was doing a bit of bar work. A job come up doing lounge boy actually one night for New Year's Eve. Going back, Jesus was probably 15 years old. And in that place they did food as well. So then I got a job doing lounge boy by night and then kitchen porter by day. And then when the chefs left, so they gave me a chance in the kitchen. Did that for about a year. Then I went to college, and that's what started me in the hospitality. I currently now live in Knoll. So we did some travelling over the years. Went to Australia and stuff like that, and worked around Ireland a little bit. But currently living in Knoll, my wife, 3 daughters. So.
And you're an Everton supporter?
Everton supporter, yeah.
There
aren't many. We have our AGM in the telephone box every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But tell me, you said the chef, like, your influence came from, was it from your mother or was it somebody else influenced you in the chef?
Yeah, well, it was actually, well, my father was a chef in the army, but I think the first love I had for cooking was with my grandmother. I used to spend a lot of summers out in where I live now, actually, in Knoll. And she lived out there, and she's a real old school cook. She made the best bread I've still ever tasted to this day. Like, I got the recipe off one of her daughters, and I just can't do it the same. She was a legend at kneading it, and she baked it down in her standing cooker. Like, that would have been fueled with logs and stuff like that. So you've all that going on as well, the flavours, you know. But I remember just one day, she's great at baking as well. She let me make a sponge, and I always remember that moment where, 3 eggs, 3 ounces of sugar, 3 ounces of flour, and then I couldn't believe it. Put it into the oven and it came out as a cake. I couldn't believe that. And I think that's where it started. When you look back, little moments, and then she'd make like lovely stews and stuff out of cheap stuff. There wouldn't be much money around back then. That was back in the 80s. But the food she put up was delicious. Like, it's really good. And then I would have done. My father was chef in the army. He also did. Over the years, he ran a couple of places out the kitchen. So I would have done a few days here and there with him. My brother is a chef as well, and my other brother is a plumber, but he's also dabbled in the kitchen as well. So must be in the blood.
Yeah. You said I think your other brother has an hotel, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, he's down in Carnaby Hotel. So, busy down there. He took over. Got the keys. He didn't have a great start actually. I don't know if I told you the last time I was speaking to you. He got the keys in February 2019, and then my father passed away. I think a week after he got the keys, and then 2 weeks after that, then COVID hit. So we had an absolute disaster of a start. but he's still there. He's actually now they're taking in Ukrainians actually in the hotel now, and he thinks for the rest of the year this year. So it's a great thing for them to do. It's a good business decision for them as well, but also it's a good humanitarian thing to do. You know, so they were to and from with the idea. I think at the start, because there's pros and cons to everything, you know. But I think they've done the right thing. You know, we all have to do our bit. You know,
exactly. And tell me just a little about your work. Like, where was your first job? Can you remember your first job?
Well, yeah, back then. So that was the Milestone in Balbriggan. So I was doing lounge boy in the evenings, and then kitchen porter. Did KP for a few months before I got into the kitchen. But I really doing the kitchen porter job really gives you a good grounding, and something that sort of brought with me throughout my career. You know, like I'd respect a kitchen porter every much as I'd respect a chef in our team. You know, they're all the same, all very important parts of the culinary team here. Without a kitchen porter, a chef can't cook. You know, guests can't get nice clean plates and stuff like that in a timely manner if you have to turn them over. So very important job. So yeah, and then that's why I get in then as a commis chef then after that. But it was a good place to start. You know, I always say there's young guys there, they have ambitions maybe to be a chef and they're doing kitchen porter. I always tell them I started as a kitchen porter. You get to learn the kitchen, you get to learn the people, dynamics. You know, it's a great place to start. So
Nespresso Professional brings the exceptional Nespresso coffee offering to hotels and restaurants that demonstrate a commitment to excellence. Nespresso coffee is made using the finest beans sourced from renowned coffee growing territories worldwide. Offering a range of coffees to satisfy discerning palates and complement dining experiences, the Nespresso Professional coffee machine delivers consistently exceptional coffee drinks, cup after cup.
In your career then, like, you know, that was your first job, and how did you work then after that?
So we did the Milestone there a couple of years. Then I went to college for a couple of years, did my culinary course, worked down in Clifton. I think it was one of my placements. Then come back, that the owner of that pub in Balbriggan, Milestone, they bought a bar across the road. So I went in there as the second chef, and then I was a head chef and was 21 there, but I thought I knew everything and I knew nothing. Right, you know, but back then I shouldn't have had that job at 21. You only learn that as you get a bit older and wiser, you know. But I thought I knew everything. Here, I have a son up here. I was getting good money, but probably one of the regrets I have that I stayed there probably too long. You know, I should have been moving around. That was the time for me to move around and do some travelling. So I went from there. Where did I go to? I worked in the airport hotel for a year or so. A few years ago now, I was in a hotel in Drogheda for a year or so. Then I went to Australia in 2012. Started off as a restaurant head chef in a 5-star resort in Darwin. I got the job, went to Work Expo. Actually, we were thinking of moving to Canada. This was when 2012. So we're in the middle of the recession. It was all doom and gloom. I was just sick of it. My wife was sick of it as well. So we just said, look, we make a break for it. And we went to the Work Expo up in the RDS, and there was one guy in the chef uniform there. He was the exec sous chef from Sky City in Darwin. So I just honed in on him, and I'd never even heard of Darwin before that in Australia. You always hear Sydney, Melbourne and stuff like that. Honed in on him, and we interviewed in the Gresham, I think, the following day, and then got offered the job. So as I say, I went in as a head chef in one of the outlets, a new seafood restaurant we were doing. And then I progressed. I was head banqueting chef there for about a year. After doing about a year in the seafood, banqueting over there was phenomenal. We do like V8 supercars over a weekend. Could be 5,000 off site. You know, so you have to cater for that. We did a gala ball every year. I think it was 2,750. Everyone gets a plate of the starter, and then there's buffets for every 150 people. So huge operation, huge banqueting. And I learned so much there. So I did that for about a year. Then I got the exec sous chef job. 6 months, I think, doing that. And then exec chef job then for a year and a half or 2 years, like that, something like that. Then we decided to come back to Ireland then. Went to Lyrath Estate in Kilkenny for a couple of years, 2 years, maybe just over 2 years. Very busy operation in there, 5-star hotel, convention centre, catering for up to 900. busy spot. Then went to the Conrad, a couple of years in the Conrad, 2.5 years in the Conrad, and then came to here.
Right, yeah.
That's where I am.
And
last May.
Yeah, in that sense, like it's been a very varied and sort of, I suppose, great experience for you, the different, Darwin and then back Ireland.
Yeah.
And talking about you talked about the volumes of work in Darwin, and if you look at Ireland, the kitchen culture, what's the difference here in the kitchen culture here and the kitchen culture in Darwin?
Ireland, like Australia, was very diverse in the kitchen. You have all nationalities in there. I think Ireland is getting better. Like, there's obviously more nationalities working in Ireland now, but certainly before I went, that was very new to me. Like, back then, be predominantly Irish people in the kitchen. You might get a few English and spatterings of Aussies maybe and stuff like that. But over there, you have nationalities from everywhere, and you learn a lot about that as well. It's good learning that, how to deal with different cultures and stuff like that, and did everything by the book over there. There was you couldn't shout and roar in the kitchens over there. You'd be into HR. It was a huge operation. I think there was 950 staff in that place. It was a casino resort. We got 5 restaurants, 7 bars and stuff like that. So loads of staff, but they didn't take any nonsense as regards. You couldn't use bad language. You had to do everything professionally, and there's good learnings there. Good way of operating. I think. And I think Ireland has become like that now as well.
Yeah, they think that stereotypical image we have of the chef losing his head is of a bygone age.
Yeah, I think you might get it the odd time maybe in restaurants, standalone restaurants. That culture's probably still a little bit there, but I don't think it's as bad. But I think certainly in hotels that it's not accepted anymore, which is good. Mm-hmm. There's no need for it. I don't think you achieve anything. Counterproductive. Probably I found over the years that type of stuff, that type of management and team spirit,
Right. Because you said about the culture, like your culture is like the kitchen porter is important as an executive chef.
Yeah.
In the kitchen. So give us a typical day in the life here in Carton House. What, like you say, on a regular sort of busy day, what's the protocol of what happens?
For me?
Yeah.
For my day today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I normally come in around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then have a quick look at emails. Maybe I'd look at the handovers from the night before. And then I come up and see how breakfast is going. If it's busy, I'll jump in and give them a dig out. That happens probably 3 or 4. I was in there this morning for about a half an hour. Just jump in because just get everything out in a timely fashion because we cook a la carte. And most mornings I just have 2 chefs in the kitchen. So I jump in and give them a dig out. Then we have a look at the business for today. We'll have a chat with the teams, all the head chefs when they come in. Discuss what's happening for the rest of the day, bookings. And then get through that. I check in with them all the head chefs, check in with all the kitchens every day. Then I'm like, whatever, you're looking at costings, you could be doing menus for certain events. Like most events now nearly want bespoke menus though. The girls and says, even though we have menus done, they'd be asking, would they like to do an Irish team night or an Italian team night for a corporate event. And then you're planning then for the weekends, predominantly when we get a lot of big functions, stuff like that, giving the lads a hand planning and that, keeping an eye on hygiene, making sure stores is good. That's the day doesn't belong going in. Then you have meetings normally in the afternoon, do meetings and that's the day flies in. Yeah.
And what about, let me say, has it become more pressurised in regard to say portionality and costs and everything else in the kitchen?
Yeah, well, I suppose as executive chef, you're responsible for the culinary, everything culinary, so down to quality, down to costings, as you say, labour cost, reviews. We're constantly getting judged. People have an expectation when they come in here. So yeah, that'd be predominantly a big part of my job. Make sure quality's good, giving all the chefs what they need, all the tools they need to do their jobs. And then making sure we're achieving our GPs at the end of every month in each outlet, and it all joins together then into a nice month then. Hopefully,
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's tough, So like any hotel in the country would, they tell you, you need to be busy in T&E really. It's a lot easier to make your food cost profit.
Yeah,
if you're busy in T&E, if you're doing the volume, it's harder to make it than if you have a quiet month in conference and events, you're going to struggle trying to hit your food costs, and that'd be fairly common, I'd say.
Yeah, you mentioned that you had a big event there the other day, the conference organisation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, PCO last week. Yeah.
And you organised an outdoor barbecue for that?
Yeah, well, we did a dinner. There was 130 guests for dinner. We did a lovely. What did we do for starters? We had a lovely duck dish, a crab dish. We did beef wellington and halibut. Lovely desserts as well. We had a panna cotta from honey that's grown on the estate here. We have a beekeeper here up in the 13th hole, so we made panna cotta using that honey. Then the next day, we did a barbecue outside in the courtyard outside the main lobby. And then we have a boat up in the loading bay there. So we made a seafood display on the boat. And then we did a lovely mix your own salad station as well. So it was very nice. Very good. First time we did anything like that, really.
Right.
Since I started, so it was nice.
So
got good feedback.
Right, yeah.
People enjoyed it,
Able to sort of push the boat out.
It's good old Cyril. We sail on.
Yeah. Well, if you look now to say food styles, like what you do here, I presume it's an eclectic mix of food. It's not all, you continually change the menu, I assume.
Yeah, we do. We change the menu at least for, the Morrison menu changes every couple of weeks. The chef in there changes all the time, which is good. In Kathleen's, we've probably changed it 10 times since we opened last May, which is a lot. I just find it good. It's good for keeping the chefs interested in what they're cooking and just coming up with new ideas. Like you might see a couple of dishes that don't work on the menu. We can pull reports off that tells us how many dishes of each we've sold in whatever time period. So they're right, this isn't selling well, but let's change it up a little bit, And then the Carriage House, we've probably changed it 4 times since we started. But you have to at least try and change with the seasons, in the winter, you're for more hot, wholesome, that style cooking. And then the summer, you're trying to keep dishes lighter sauces and maybe more salads on the menu and stuff like that. So
right,
keeps it interesting.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that you use your own honey for the event recently. That you have your own honey, your beekeeper. Do you have a garden here as such, a herb garden, anything like that here?
No, but we will do. That's on our one of our projects for this year is to get herbs started, and we're going to start off slow and then hopefully elevate that then into more herbs and veggies maybe as well. Put a polytunnel in. But John Plummer here, the superintendent for the facilities here, he's very very on board with it, and they'll give us plenty of support. So we need to get that off the ground. So. That's one of our on the jobs for this year.
Because is provenance a very important element?
Unbelievable! Like I even tried to put on the menu what harbour seafood is landed on, and we put that on the menu. I think people are more interested now in knowing where their seafood comes from, where their veggies come from. We try to use as many local suppliers as we can, keep it within a certain amount of miles of the hotel when possible. Like a lot of our producers be local, which is great. Great to support them as well. Like we use Faye Cullen Farm. He's only down the road there for chicken and duck. We use local herb growers as well, Little Cress, Dave Heffernan. I own a farm beetroot, or I own a farm baby vegetables in Garristown, and then all the seafood we try and keep it local as well. So it's great.
Right.
Yeah,
and does that necessitate you going out and visiting these places and getting a sense of...
we try to. A couple of guys have gone down to a couple of them, but a lot of the guys have come in here and like I know a lot of them by reputation, so we trust them, and but the guys in each outlet might go down and visit all right, and it's good for them as well to see.
And is sustainability something that you would be conscious of in the kitchen, from the way you cook and...
Yeah, that's another project. Planet 21 is called for a core. Obviously, Fairmont's in the core hotel. So that's an initiative we're really ramping up in this hotel now this year. Trying to cut out single-use plastic, sustainable seafood, certain seafoods they don't want us using on the menus, and trying to really get that. We've actually heard recently a staff member that deals with that as well. They're driving that, so. I assist, and Heart House manager will assist as well. Good key stakeholders trying to get that done, but that's definitely on our radar this year.
And if you look at the current situation in Ukraine has impacted on Europe dramatically, and we're looking at rising costs in regard to food produce,
Yeah.
food inflation, and also fuel, like the cost of fuel inflation. Has that begun to impact on you here?
100%. We use a system called Procure Wizard there, so every day I can go onto the website, and there's a section where you have to approve different new prices, and I reckon within the last 3 or 4 weeks I've approved over 1,000 price increases. It could be 20 cent a kilo here, it could be €1 a box here, but it all adds up. It probably makes 5% difference to the cost at the end of the month. Just in the last month, it's like my suppliers tell me they've never seen anything like this before. Couldn't get tomatoes last week because this time of year they could be coming out of Spain, and there's a strike on over there with truck drivers, and they wouldn't let any trucks from Ireland or the UK in or out. Big problem. Couldn't get cost lettuce, stupid stuff. But prices are going through the roof. Everything: beef, fish, chicken, veggies, fruit, everything. Dairy's gone through the roof. It's tough. Hopefully it's nearly plateaued though. You just try not to pass on to the menu as much as you can, but it's going to have to come to a time where you're going to have to.
How long do you think that can be sustained?
I don't know. It can't keep going like this. Otherwise you'd be charging people wouldn't be able to afford to go out, right? Because I know chicken is up 25. Something that cost me €25 for 25 chicken breasts is now €31. It's huge. That's only the last 2 weeks. Butter's gone up €20 a box. Stuff you don't even think about.
Oh, the base costs.
Base costs, like veggies, all the vegetables are going up. It's not easy. But we keep going. That's why probably looking into more cheaper cuts of meat now on menus and trying to keep the cost down and keep the menus menu price achievable, I guess, for people. We're not pricing ourselves out of the market. So. Yeah.
Now you mentioned that you have a number of different restaurants here within the property, and how do they cater? Obviously, they're all different dining experiences, are they?
Yeah, different dining experience, different price points as well. So in the Carriage House, we like bistro style food. It's a golf clubhouse, but also a lot of our hotel guests like to dine over there. It's very casual dining. We do lovely steaks over there. We have a Mabrasa grill, so it's fueled with charcoal. We do like black salt on the bone. We do a couple of nice seafood dishes, feather blade, beef, and then we have fish and chips. Then we do a Wagyu burger over there. That type of that type of food, which is very good. Very busiest outlet by far. And then we come over to Kathleen's Kitchen, be real Irish wholesome food, probably a little bit more expensive. And then we have the fine dining in the Morrison. We got predominantly a tasting menu and table d'hote menu. And then we do afternoon tea, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's quite busy as well. And then obviously our conference and events, very busy corporate stuff coming in now as well, getting busier on the corporate side. And then weddings are picking up, and then breakfast, and it keeps you busy. Lots happening all the time. And
would you see that, you mentioned corporate, because, the worry was, concern was that corporate Ireland may cease to exist with all the Zoom meetings out there, but are you seeing a resurgence of people want to interact again and getting together?
I think so. I think there's a huge appetite now for them to be meeting face to face. We see that now. The girls are constantly doing show rounds. We got one girl there earlier, one of our sales team come in doing a show round. Definitely, I think there's an appetite. I think it's great doing a teams meeting and stuff like that, but it's great to also meet face to face. I think it's a different type of meeting you have, and
Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose if we look at the most concerning thing for the industry at the moment would be the likes of staff shortages, right?
Yeah.
We know the impact of COVID. Like, did COVID impact you very much here, or how did you deal with COVID?
Well, I joined here in May, so I joined here a week before we opened up, 2nd of June. I think we were here about a week or 10 days maybe before we opened. So I sort of come in at the end of COVID for the most part. I know we did a few months of it afterwards, but it was tough trying to get team members in certain areas. Even now we're still struggling, and I know front of house very much struggling with trying to get team members, and so teams throughout accommodations very, very much struggling. I'd say every team is looking for staff in the building here at the moment. So we're still looking for some chefs in key areas as well. So kitchen porters, it's not easy.
And how can that be dealt with? I mean, like, would you be an advocate of the apprenticeship schemes coming back into play? Do you think that is the route to go? Or?
Yeah, well, I think so. Look, I think 5 comedy chefs here at the moment that are in college, and I'm a big believer in that. We need to be trained in the next generation of chefs, and Carton House should be a place where comedy chefs want to go and learn, because they can be in here working in 3 different outlets and then do conference, and you can do breakfast. So for a comedy chef to come in here and maybe we move them around each outlet, you couldn't get a better place to learn. But I think definitely it could be looked at, going back to the classic apprenticeship style, but yeah, we need to be training, especially with chefs, the next generation. There's a lot of drop off as well with chefs, I think, in college.
And what do you think what is the cause of that? Is it because perception, or? Yeah,
I think that's a big thing, actually, perception. They probably look at chefs on TV and think it's all lovely and easy jobs, but when it gets down to reality and they're asked to work weekends or asked to do long hours and stuff like that, some of them probably struggle with that. Struggle with the reality of it, and it's hard work. You're on your feet all day. It's tough. Kitchens can be tough places.
Yeah, particularly we have a situation where the other night the young doctors were complaining about their jobs and the long hours they have to do, and I think that's just part and parcel of society. Is it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but
Is it a situation where our generations are now too cosseted and not willing to put in the effort?
Maybe it's just a different way of looking at life. I think they're probably more health conscious, and they probably feel doing a 14-hour shift is not healthy. And maybe they're right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're right. Maybe we need to change. So I'm always very open minded. At the same time, like, we have a couple of team members here, younger ones, and there are different aged groups, I guess. But I do try to treat them all equally. I just. One comedy chef asked me recently, could they go on to 4 days a week? But that's something we want to do in two restaurants. But I need to get more team members in. But I can't be doing it just for one. I need to wait and deal with it together.
Build up a team.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But you think that's how it's going to have to go? That the industry's going to have to change.
So.
It's the way that they operate.
Yeah.
Have more staff available and reduce the hours.
I think so. Yeah, I think we're going to have to cut down to more normal hours, if you like.
Right.
Give team, maybe every second week. I don't know, whatever. We're going to have to be more flexible. The appetite isn't there with young chefs now, I think, to do the long shifts. I can see it. I can see it myself. You might get the odd one that are happy enough to do it, but I just think that culture has changed, and maybe they're right. Maybe they're right.
I know from time to time you seem to invite, we'll say, celebrity type chefs to come to your restaurant. You had Luke Moriarty here a few weeks ago.
Oh, Mark, yeah, Mark there in, where was it? That was at March, yeah. We did great night, great food. He was here for 2 nights, and great thing for food lovers, I think. Mm-hmm. We priced it well, good tasting menu on, very interactive. Mark and Derek Kelly, the head chef in Kathleen's, tried to get around all the tables, say hello, and just a really good experience, something different. Yeah. Something we'll do in the future as well. We might do something in the Morrison next. Maybe get a chef in and do it. Just try to do something a little bit different and attract different clientele to the hotel and to the restaurant and stuff like that. So
would you be a great advocate of the likes of the culinary arts, the different schemes now that some of the colleges are engaging with and promoting?
In what way?
In the sense of creating I suppose a degree course in culinary. Oh
yeah, why not? I know a friend of mine. He was a chef for years, and then he went back to college, and now he's teaching. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Some people that will suit, and some people won't. Some people want to be in the industry, and some people want to when they get a bit older, maybe take a step back and do teaching or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But as you indicated yourself, I mean, because of the skill set you had, you were able to go to Darwin and have explore the world. And it's not something within the sector. If you have those skill sets, the world is your oyster.
Oh, it is, yeah, definitely. Like, I guarantee you go to any country as a chef in the world, and they're going to be looking for chefs. I think it's a worldwide problem where there's a shortage there, but it's a very exciting industry to be in, especially as a young chef. And I'd always say to young people now, do your couple of years, get your college out of the way, like stay with us for as long as you can within this, but then go out and see the world. And because you're learning about different cultures, but you're also learning from the chefs that you're working beside. You learn as much from them as you learn from your head chef. You know, just the colleague you might be standing to next at the bench. You know, you're learning everything he's learned in his career. You know, so it's a great.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact of, you know, chefs from outside of Ireland. Maybe is that what you have to look at to bring people from outside of Ireland?
Oh, definitely, like 100% not enough chefs in the country at the moment, Joe. I think we're looking for 40 or 45,000 hospitality staff at the moment. Now, I don't know what the exact figure is for chefs, but quite big, I would say. I know they've made it easier for bringing chefs in from that don't have a European visa, but it still takes 3 months, and you have a lot of hoops to jump through. I think they need to make it a lot easier. Like, I'm looking for chefs. I could put an ad up on LinkedIn for a chef, and I get inundated with chefs from India, Sri Lanka that are working out in Dubai and the Emirates and stuff like that, and they can't get a job over there, and we're crying out for chefs, and it's very difficult to bring them in. It doesn't make sense, you know. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if we maybe look at seeing you're such a prolific chef here, how do you do
prolific?
it at home?
I don't know about that.
Well, let's see. That's the test. How good are you at home cooking?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I do my fair share, I would say. Yeah.
What's the fair share now?
my wife would. She works full time as well, so the way we have it, she do a lot of the stuff, and I just do the cooking. Maybe, you know, I might do 1 or 2 nights a week and make a couple of dishes for the next couple of days. So.
Batch cooking.
Yeah, a little bit of batch cooking. Yeah, but and then when I'm off, then I might do something nice.
So what's your go-to dish? Like, I mean, say that you have 3 daughters, right? What age are the daughters?
18, 14 and 12.
So very choosy.
They're picking up, yeah. You can be 3 or 4 different things going on at the same time.
Right. So there's not a go-to dish in the family, is there?
Oh, what do they like? It varies. Some weeks it's lasagna they like, pasta bake. Oh, basic enough stuff we do. Shepherd's pie went down well the last time, but then you can make it again. Say, oh, no, I don't like that anymore. Right? Okay, you're changing it again then. Right. But yeah.
And have any of them followed you into there? Have any of them shown an interest in the industry?
My middle daughter Lucy, yeah, she they all like to cook actually, but Lucy, I think maybe she could be potential there. She likes cooking. She's very much into her health now. She's very sporty. Of the 3 of them, she'd be the most sporty, but she's had to get a meal plan off Carla Rowe, who she plays the Dublin ladies team.
Right.
And she's from our village, so she got a meal plan out for her. She was home last night making herself chili. A recipe from Carla Rowe, you know, that she got, so nice healthy one. So, but she could be, maybe she could be a chef.
Nice. Yeah.
Again, it changes.
Might have a bit of influence to get her a job somewhere.
Yeah, might. Yeah.
And how do you find family life? I mean, is it difficult when you come home in the evenings? I mean, what time you would normally get home at?
Look, if it's busy here, I'm here. Like if there's big functions on or stuff like that, I'll be here until they're done. But then a normal day to day, like there's nothing really happening, just a few in the restaurants. I'll be trying to go home, pulling in around 6:30 or so into the house. You know, It's not too bad. You know.
And how do you relax? How does Gary Rogers switch off?
I find it very hard to switch off. I was just talking to my wife about it last night. I'm about to get myself a bike now, so I went for a little tiny cycle last night. So I find it hard to switch off. I find it hard to sleep some nights, you know, especially if I'm busy, because I find when I'm in here all day, you don't get a whole lot of time to digest and think about stuff, and because you're just busy, you know. And then when I find myself in bed in the evenings, and my head's racing, and I'm thinking about everything that's happening the next day or next couple of days and stuff like that. So, but I'll go watch a bit of TV, read some books, go for a walk maybe, you know, have a beer on the weekend with my neighbours and stuff like that. So that's it. And
would you go walk or anything like that there?
Yeah, we do a bit of walking. Myself and I did a lot of walking over lockdown actually. We're pounding the roads out there and all. Yeah, but try to keep a bit of exercise, and it's hard though. You know, sometimes you go home and you're tired and stuff like that, and it's easy just to sit down on the couch or whatever. So just about changing.
Yeah, but here within the resort, you have, you know, the likes of the golf, and you have the likes of the gym. Would you not have an evening go in here and spend an hour in the gym with that?
Not really. I like to just go home, after work. Like we can go out and play golf if we want. I need staff there.
Yeah.
Some of the perks of working there, you're allowed to play golf out there and no charge. But I like to, when work's finished, I like to just go home to the family, because like just weeks there, like last week, very busy week. I was going out in the mornings and they were still in bed, and I come home in the evenings, they're in bed, the kids, so you have to take the good with the bad,
Right, yeah. And do the kids ever cook for you?
Yeah, Lucy will cook me, yeah. Or Ella or Annie, they might do pancakes on Sunday mornings maybe and stuff like that, so.
And would you be critical now?
I don't them, no. Try and maybe nudge them in the right direction if they're going wrong, but no. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But, not too critical with them.
So I suppose to wrap it up, if you had your life to live over again, would you have chosen a different career?
No. I don't know what else I would have done. This was definitely the career for me. I'm still hugely passionate about it. You're always learning something as well. It's always evolving, isn't it? Cooking and hospitality, So I love it.
Mm-hmm. So onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards, yeah.
Okay, Gary. Listen, thanks.
That's it.
Big thanks to Gary Rogers for joining us on the Chef Table podcast. You can follow and subscribe to our channels with all our podcasts available on our website and on Spotify and YouTube. Bye for now.